Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Sarah's Home Bakery. Today we are going to be making a peanut butter Oreo cheesecakes. Let's get started. Okay guys, so like I said, today we are going to be making an Oreo peanut butter cheesecake. So the first thing we want to do is get our oven preheated to 325 degrees. I've already done that. So now we're going to start on our Oreo crust. So the first thing we want to do is start with about 1.5 cups of crushed Oreos. It's about 20 Oreos or so. You want to make sure you have a nice thin or fine crumb here. You can do that by either using a food processor or by putting them into a Ziploc bag and just pounding it with a rolling pin or something. So to our Oreo crumbs, we're going to add about 1/3 cup of melted butter and a tablespoon of granulated sugar. We're going to mix that all together until all of it is wet and moist with all of the butter. Okay, and once all of that is mixed together, we're going to put it into our cheesecake pan. We have a springform pan here, and I've lined it with aluminum foil. We're not actually going to be using the water bath cooking method today, but the aluminum foil is going to help with anything leaking out of your pan, especially the butter from the crust. So we're going to take your Oreo crumb mixture, just pour it all into the bottom of the springform pan, and we're gonna push it down in here to make our crust. Like I said, it's important that you have a pretty thin fine crumb here, because if you have too many big pieces, the crust isn't going to hold together as well. So we'll just do our best to pack it down as best that we can here. Smells really good already. And now we're just gonna sit this to the side as we start on our filling mixture. So to start off with our cheesecake filling, I'm going to start with 3 blocks of cream cheese, and you want to make sure that this is at room temperature. Along with that, we're going to add in a full cup of peanut butter. You want to use the creamy and don't use the natural or it will separate. Make sure we get it all in here. And at this point, we're also going to add in a cup of white sugar here as well. And we're gonna start beating this here until it's really smooth. So intermittently here, we're going to stop and scrape down the sides here. The one big thing with the key to a really good cheesecake is making sure that everything is smooth and well incorporated. You can't really overmix this, so it's a good thing to just keep stopping and scraping down your sides and scraping the paddle attachment so that we can make sure everything is being mixed in really well. Okay, after everything is really well combined, we're gonna start adding in our eggs one at a time. Your eggs should also be at room temperature. That's gonna help everything blend in even really smoothly. So we'll start with our first egg, and every time we add an egg, we're gonna beat it for a little bit longer until it's well incorporated and you can't tell that the egg is in there, and then we'll add the next one. Again, we're gonna keep stopping every so often to just make sure that everything is being mixed together well. So we're gonna scrape the sides of our bowl and the very bottom to make sure that the attachment is not gathering all of the ingredients at the bottom here. I'm gonna keep going, adding our next egg in. Stop and scrape down the sides. You really want to make sure that when you're doing this, there are no lumps in it. That's only going to result in a lumpy cheesecake. You're not going to get that smooth, rich consistency if you have a lot of lumps or if you have extra streaks of peanut butter or anything like that. So we're just mixing to get everything as smooth as possible. And we're going to turn this back on and add our final egg. Turn it off, scrape it down one more time. And then I'm going to also add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we'll turn it on here one more time to get it nice and mixed. Like I said, you really cannot overmix this cheesecake filling. There's no flour or anything in it, so you're not worried about creating too much gluten or anything like that, like you would be if you were making a normal cake. So just keep mixing until you know that there's no lumps in it. Okay. So here you can see that our cheesecake filling is completely smooth, no lumps or anything like that. So I'm going to get my paddle out of here and then we're going to stir in some crushed Oreos. And here we have, it's about 9 or 10 crushed Oreos. You don't want them to be as crushed as you have for the crust, so you have some bigger chunks within the cheesecake. So I'm just gonna fold those in. Make sure everything is mixed really well. Okay, and then from here we're going to put this into our oven, preheated again at 325 degrees, and we'll check it after about an hour, but we're gonna be cooking it until the center is still a little bit jiggly, but is set. So we'll show you that when it comes out. Okay, so into the oven again with the aluminum foil here. And we'll set our timer for 1 hour. Okay, so it's been an hour and we're gonna pull our cheesecake out of the oven here. And as you can see, it's a little brown around the edges, but if you give it a jiggle, the middle still jiggles a little tiny bit. So we're gonna let this sit here for about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll move it to a wire rack here so that it can get to room temperature, and after it gets to about room temperature, we're gonna pop it in the refrigerator for at least 8 hours, but preferably overnight. Hey everyone, it's the next morning. I just pulled our cheesecake out of the refrigerator. It's fully chilled. You can see that there's no cracking and the middle is fully set now. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this out of our springform pan. And if you have any sticking around the edges, you can go ahead and just run a knife around the edges. You can go ahead and top this with any of your favorite toppings. I'm gonna top it with some hot fudge and crushed Oreos. Hey guys, so this is our final product with the hot fudge and the Oreos on top. We're gonna give it a slice and try it. Let's see how it is. It's really peanut buttery, chocolatey, smooth, creamy, really decadent. It's really good. If you like this video, give us a like and hit subscribe and comment below what you'd like to see next.